What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on these recent statements made by Kendrick Perkins, right? And Kendrick Perkins recently said that the Lakers could be back in the market to bring Anthony Davis back, right? And I'm not buying that at all because the Lakers, number one, the Lakers know better than anybody how fragile and how much, like why they got rid of Anthony Davis in the first place. And so now that, I think what this is a play by Klutch to do Anthony Davis a solid and try to get him out of DC. Anthony Davis, he don't want to play there in DC with the Wizards. So this is a ploy, and they trying to throw him a bone. They trying to do the same thing for Anthony Davis that they did for it's kind of things that they do for LeBron James. Just put this kind of information out there just to make it seem like there's a market. But I don't think it's going to work because everybody knows that Anthony Davis just stay hurt. I think last year he only played like a handful of games, if that, for the Wizards, right? And so why would any team be in a market for Anthony Davis? It just don't make any sense. I think that because Kendrick Perkins is on that Klutch payroll, that he said these statements, and just to make it seem like there's some interest in Anthony Davis. When personally, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think nobody in their right mind believes that Anthony Davis or the Lakers will want Anthony Davis back. You will get now, even though DeAndre Ayton is not, sometimes he don't play up to his full potential, but at least he's there. Like there's that availability, right? And so if Anthony Davis, if you have Anthony Davis and you got what's the guy, DeAndre Ayton on your team, DeAndre Ayton is still going to wind up playing more than Anthony Davis, right? So right now, the way it stands, the Lakers are stuck. They're taking advantage of the fact that DeAndre Ayton sucked last year and he wasn't all that good. But other than that, I still don't think that the Lakers are really interested in bringing Anthony Davis back. Now, if he had went to Dallas and showed out, or he had played really well in DC and kind of like rebuilt his image, then that would have been different. Then people, but he was coming off of injury. He didn't really play in DC, so I don't think so. But let's listen to Kendrick Perkins, what he had to say. Then I'm gonna come back and give some more of my input.
And the magic is gonna have to be maybe revisiting the relationship with Anthony Davis. I mean, that's the only A-list center that's gonna be out there big that could actually get them over the hump. And by the way, if you're DeAndre Ayton, how do you feel about seeing these comments right now? Seriously, I think he has another year on this deal. If you're DeAndre Ayton, you gotta feel horrible right now.
If I'm DeAndre Ayton and I hear them bringing up Anthony Davis, man, I'm not losing any sleep. I'm telling Rob Pelinka and the Lakers, man, if y'all think that Anthony Davis is going to be more available and healthier, and y'all going to get more out of him, then go ahead. I just think that, especially Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka is I think, in my opinion, Rob Pelinka is on thin ice. I don't think that Rob Pelinka is in a position where as though he can take this kind of gamble on Anthony Davis. If you're the general manager of any team, well, just say that if you're the general manager of the Lakers, like you can't. This is somebody, Anthony Davis, who you can't bet on because more than likely you're gonna come up short. Now, if ownership was asking, they were telling Rob Pelinka to go out and get Anthony Davis, and that's one thing. But even still, I'm Rob Pelinka. I'm going to advise against that because he's going to be the one who's going to have to, going to pay the price if this don't work out. You're going to bring, like Anthony Davis is 2 years removed from the Lakers, 2 years removed from their team, and hasn't been healthy since he's left. So why bring him? Why bring him back?
You gotta feel unwanted. And people call me everything but a child of God when I said, hey DeAndre Ayton, man, you know, you done been on you former #1 overall pick, the Phoenix Suns. They gave up on you. Portland Trail Blazers couldn't wait to get rid of you, and that they look better without you. All of a sudden, Luka Doncic is saying he need an A-list center. Like, I want to go out on a limb and say maybe they could go pull the string and get a Daniel Gafford, and I love Daniel Gafford, but I just don't know if that puts them to the point of getting to the NBA Finals. Especially when you think about OKC, the Spurs, Denver Nuggets, like Jokic is still there. Minnesota is still there. I wouldn't put the Lakers ahead of any one of those teams.
What I would do if I was the Lakers and I would put more athletes. I would just try to get athletes. When you look at how the Spurs are set up, right? They have athletes around, also, who was the other team? Not OKC, they have athletes, right? And guys who can play defense. You need to really put some defenders and some athletes around Luka. Not just, like a center, not just a big center. I would just go out and try to get some athletes and people who could defend. Luka has to do a better job of bring more to the table. Although Luka is an outstanding ball player, and people might say, well, what else can Luka do? But Luka, he got to do better. If Luka want to be able to be, in contention for a championship, then he's going to have to do better. Not just talk about, he's singing the songs that LeBron James sing when talk about bring in some better players or get me this or get me that. When you're not really doing everything that you can do as a player, and you're making demands on a team. So, yeah, I'm not really worried about this. This right here, this AD thing back to the Lakers, I think will be a step back, and I think this will get people fired.
The only thing I could see is them going revisit the relationship with Anthony Davis. I don't know what AD wants. I don't know what's going on with him and the Washington Wizards. But let me say this. If I'm the Lakers, though, I definitely can't invest all of my money into Luka and Austin Reeves as my franchise guys. I'm going to say this again. If the Lakers are trying to get to the promised land and trying to win another championship, Austin Reeves and Luka together cannot be your two best players to lead you to a championship. You cannot.
Just imagine, though, and I agree with him. I don't think that with Austin Reeves and Luka, that's enough, firepower to get you to the championship. As a matter of fact, I would try to trade Austin Reeves for some assets, for somebody who is somebody who's more athletic and can defend. That's that is exactly what he need. Put a team around him like like the Joker. Like when the Joker won that championship, the Joker had athletes and he had defenders around him. And also the Joker played better defense. He's a better defender than Luka. But this right here, I just think that Klutch Sports, they know and they understand that this situation with Anthony Davis is not going to go anywhere. But I think that because they, that's their client, they want to look like they're trying to do good by him, but they know it's not going anywhere. And so now they got Kendrick Perkins in on it. I don't even think that the Washington Wizards are going to fall for it. And the Wizards right now, they standing, they looking pretty good as far as the draft can, they got that #1 pick. So they not really concerned with Anthony Davis, man. If Anthony Davis can come and give him some quality minutes, then that's cool. But if not, man, the Wizards have a lot of nice pieces over there. And look like the Wizards going to be in the thick of things, man. So I don't know if I'm Anthony Davis, first thing I think he need to be doing is really trying to get healthy, rather than trying to go to the Lakers, because I don't see like what is his purpose for going to the Lakers. He, like they even with Anthony, even if they allowed that, if the Lakers was goofy enough to do something like that, they still wouldn't be able to compete with OKC or the Spurs or any of the top teams in the West. because Anthony Davis just can't stay healthy. So, you know, I just don't get it. Oh, well, I do get it. Like I said, it's about just trying to see if they can get somebody to bite and drum up some interest. You know, as a matter of fact, I basically think that Anthony Davis probably won't be in the league for too much longer because he can't stay healthy. And I see teams now after this, they might even start offering Anthony Davis the minimum, you know, because why pay him when he just can't stay healthy? I don't even know how old he is, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And so this right here is just a ploy by Klutch, you know, just to try to drum up some interest. But it is what it is. That's my take on it, man. Y'all make sure to like, subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'm going to check you all out in the next video. Peace.